Welcome to Spirit Talks, because your spirit talks to you. Hello and welcome to Spirit Talks. I'm Susie Beiler.
And I'm Maximilliam Haver.
Today's Spirit Talk topic is Ascension.
Thanks for joining us and enjoy.
So Max, I hear a lot of people talk about Ascension in the spiritual community, and some people talk about, as they leave their physical body or die, that they'll be ascending. And my understanding of ascension for myself has always been I'll eventually be dematerializing. Why do you think people have different views about this?
I think it comes down to how ascension is being defined as a term in many different ways. Mm-hmm. What we've heard through the channeling is that it's a marked increase in vibrational frequency, which is also simultaneously associated with either shifting in form, shifting in density and vibration and dematerializing, or also can be associated with at time of death, the shift in frequency would occur then. So it's that market.
It could be both.
Yeah, it's that market shift in vibration. So it's a distinct level of vibration, a jump, if you will.
So it all comes back to we all have different paths and different timelines. Mm-hmm. And because it might be my truth to dematerialize, it might not be somebody else's.
Yes. And so understanding that when people talk about dematerializing when they ascend, that's not anything to discredit, because it can be part of their path. And if anyone talks about ascending when they pass away, that's nothing to discredit, because that can be part of their path as well.
Nice.
And ascension is a very intentional process, because it's something that requires an alignment and integration of all parts, including the ego, the thoughts, the actions of the body, and
all of your soul aspects.
All your soul aspects. And so it's being integrated with all these parts and intentionally increasing your vibrational frequency. And everyone has a different path and key to ascension. So there's no one methodology to increasing your vibration, because the method has to resonate with your path.
Yeah. I really resonate with those ascended masters who have dematerialized. We read stories. In the Bible, Jesus ascended. And in the Bible, Jesus also said, you shall do these things and more. You shall do greater things than I have done. Mm-hmm. So if he ascended, what else are we going to be doing that's even greater than that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's many stories of, beings that come in and out of this density. And I mean, that's even intention for some people after they ascend, is that they're able to move into different dimensions and densities. So it's nothing to think, is over
out of our reach.
Yeah, out of our reach. It's just simply a different path, and if it's not resonating with you, it's A, either not part of your path, or B, not that part on your path. So you're still in progress working towards these things. And so it just depends on the individual and where they're at with it. So yes, why would you seek ascension?
I don't know that I'm seeking it. It's just something I know that I'm doing. Mm-hmm. I don't really resonate with the word seek, because it's just a knowing that I have. This is my path. I'm deliberately and consciously raising my vibration all the time, as much as possible, in any way I can, because I know that my path is ascension. And I also know that I'm here on this planet. One of my sole purposes is to share that path with others and to teach others how they can ascend. And it might mean their ascension leads to dematerialization, or their ascension is simply that continual raising of their frequencies, so that when they pass or when they die, that they are experiencing ascension in that way.
Now, is there anything else that How does ascension serve oneself and others?
That's a great question. I was just thinking about that. As we raise our frequencies, it serves the collective because, we're all on this path to awaken. Every soul has its purpose and its mission here. And so, as we, as a collective and individually, go through this ascension process, raising our frequencies, we are evolving the planet. We're evolving this galaxy. It's very expansive. It goes like beyond my comprehension. We're evolving this universe and this multiverse. It serves a very high purpose to raise the frequency of all life everywhere. So my personal journey affects all life everywhere. And my collective journey with my community and my fellow brothers and sisters in the light who are on this path, we're all serving the collective to raise the frequency of all life everywhere.
So in service, it's to evolve spiritually all life. It's to give that, I guess, that template, that your piece in the collective that assists all the collective to draw upon in their own evolution.
Yeah, I mean, it's you think about, what did Jesus do? What did Buddha do? What did Krishna do? All the masters who went before us, they created that template. They created that knowing that it's possible for each of us. And so now more and more of us are doing that, and more of us that create a template, the easier, I believe, this is my belief, the easier it will be for others who follow in our footsteps.
Now, do you have any words to share about how some people may perceive ascension as extremely difficult or impossible?
I can share with you that my family thinks that I'm pretty nutty. I don't know if that's the word they would use. Even they might consider me a heretic because I'm claiming this belief and this knowing. And yeah, some people will think, this is a difficult path. This is not something that's easy to achieve. And while I kind of have two perspectives. I say, yeah, sometimes it is challenging because you got to look at your stuff and go through your growth, and that's not always easy. And then on the other hand, there are people who are so familiar with the hard way of doing things that they get attached to that difficulty, and they start to claim, this is not an easy path, this is a difficult path, and things of that nature. And I think that can be dangerous because then you're taking away from allowing ease and grace to come into your life. And so while I would say, it's not necessarily always easy, but there is so much ease and grace available for us that we don't have to get attached to any difficulty that we might experience along the way.
Now, how long does it take for an individual to complete an ascension or a market shift in vibration, this jump, as we spoke of?
Well, I believe it takes lifetimes. I mean, I believe we've been working on this for many, many lifetimes. I do feel like there is an acceleration that's occurring right now that's enabling us to go on this journey with more efficiency. And it depends on the person. I don't think you can give a timeline and say, it should take you 5 years to achieve this. Everyone's on their own timeline and their own journey. There's no possible way we can say, you should achieve this in this amount of years.
So it's definitely a long duration for most, at least in our perspective of time.
I would agree with that.
Yeah. So on the path to ascension, one does not have to have a lifestyle of a monk, or is this?
Absolutely not. In fact, for most of us, the path is to be integrated in this world so that we can share our light with those we meet. If we go off and seclude ourselves somewhere, and I'm not saying this is wrong because this is some people's path, but if those of us who are called to be moving about in the world go off and seclude ourselves, then how are we helpful? Other than on an energetic level, because what we're putting out energetically affects all life everywhere. How are we helpful if we're not interacting with people and sharing our light? When people see us at the grocery store and we smile, they light up. For me, that's part of my service and my path. That's one way that I share love and light with people. And I think that's really, really important. And it takes a high level of mastery to be able to live in this world on the ascension path. It's one thing to go to a monastery somewhere and be able to be all peace and loving when there, are few challenges coming your way other than the challenge of being with yourself. It's a totally different thing to be out in the world, to, have to pay your bills every month, to interact with people who might be projecting on you. All the things that we encounter in our daily lives. It takes a high degree of mastery to maintain our vibration at a high level.
So it just depends on the person's path. If they are called to seclusion, then that would be for their path, and if they are to interact in the world. And if it's different phases on their path, then they can go back and forth, certainly.
Absolutely. I know people that spent 10 years in the monastery and then they were called to leave and come back into the world. So it can be, bottom line is we need to follow our hearts, and what our callings are in each moment.
So how can a person discern whether their actions or intentions are assisting in their path on ascension?
Well, where are your actions and intentions coming from? Are they coming from the purity of your heart? Are they coming from your ego? I think it's pretty simple. If you have pure intentions from your heart, then, I don't know what else to say about that. I think it's pretty simple. Yeah.
Good. Is there anything else you'd like to share about ascension or ideas of ascension?
Well, I'm curious if you have any thoughts that you would like to share with us.
Well, I believe everyone is on their ascension path, as that's part of growing and evolving. And those that are consciously engaged with it are certainly taking an accelerated path, a more direct engagement with it. And some people will decide that that's not for them at this time, and some people will continue quite intently. So it's all dependent on the individual, but I believe everyone is always on their path of growth and expansion, even though it may take many lifetimes, or it may be a very difficult lesson that they're learning.
So even a member of the cabal or the Illuminati or someone like Mr. Trump or someone who does not appear to be living in the light, you would say they're all those people are on their ascension path.
Yes, well, they're exploring the different choices upon the path, and the energies they're setting forth is going to bring lessons to them in return.
Right.
So while they may be disruptive or destructive in this lifetime, next lifetime they will have a very different experience, and they'll have lots of lessons that they'll have opportunities to grow through. So they're setting forth those growth opportunities.
Yeah. Well, it sure is interesting to get that larger perspective, isn't it? Well, beautiful. Thanks for having this conversation with me about Ascension. I hope that this was helpful for each of you, and we will see you in the next episode.
May you follow your heart in your path and always be guided to higher vibrations.